Hello and welcome to the Alpha Insight Podcast. My friends, today's episode is going to be a bit different. You may be wondering, why is this episode an hour and a half long, or however it turns out to be? I decided to try something a little bit new, and I hope you enjoy. I did an interview with some of my buddies. We actually shared a mic, so if all the editing goes well and everything, I'm going to post it. I'm going to publish it. I don't know why I'm explaining this because I'm going to publish it if you... Anyways, today we're going to be talking about... It's like an intro to what I'm going to be talking about separately. I want to do some interviews, and I got another mic, so I will be able to do one-on-one interviews from now on. So I'm planning to hopefully do one interview a week along with one solo episode every week. I'll probably do the solo episodes every Monday, and then the interviews maybe on a Thursday or Friday or something like that. So, but for now, this episode's going to be an intro to the dating topic, and we get into a little bit of dating, what it should be for and whatever. As it doesn't go too crazy, but definitely some good things to think about, and we talk a little bit about gender roles and stuff like that. So this should be a very fun episode. I wanted to just get some new perspectives out there so you can hear some new perspective and not just me. So without further ado, my friends, I hope you enjoy today's episode. If you do, I would really appreciate it if you share it on Instagram or Facebook, or take a screenshot, maybe copy a link, whatever you could do to help. That would be super awesome. But I hope you learned something today. I know I did. So, and sorry, one more time, quick disclaimer, there is some dirty language. So I just wanted to give you that as a warning. If there's kids listening or whatever, might not want to have kids around or, whatever. So just as a quick disclaimer, now let's get into the show. We're going over the dating topic, right?
Yeah.
Oh, so okay. This is the podcast we've got Kevin. Kevin, say what's up.
Oh, what's up? They call me Utopia Jeezy.
Nobody calls me that.
Nobody calls me that, dog.
All right, and then we got Conrad over here.
What it do?
All right, and then we got Davino.
Yo, what's going on?
All right, so we're just going to try something out here. I'm going to publish this probably as a bonus episode. But we're going to talk about the topic that we're already going to talk about, which is going to be the dating.
So it's like a precursor type, like a warm up.
Like, we could get we could get multiple opinions.
Oh, okay.
So it's not, it won't just be based off of my opinion and whatever. So we'll see how this goes.
That's what's up. So where are we gonna start off with this, man? There's a lot of.
Where do we start? Mr. Alpha Insight.
Yeah.
Okay.
Why don't you start off?
I got a question. All right, so.
You can start off with your experiences. Why don't we just talk about that?
Yeah, let's just tell stories.
Hold on. All right, what do you guys think, in your opinion? Like, what would you say dating is for? Like, and also what people use it for today.
I feel like dating's just natural. You feel me? Like everybody longs for some sort of monogamous relationship at one point in their life. I think it's just some natural reality that we all just kind of strive for, unless we're asexual or aromantic. Other than that, everybody's just looking for that one connection, just naturally.
All right. Well, I mean, I know what it's supposed to be for and stuff. It's supposed to be for finding the person you want to marry and stuff and settle down with. But a lot of most people use it for usually just their own, how would you say it, pleasures or whatever, having that attention from that other person, and having that emotional connection and stuff. I don't really know how to word it, but people don't really use it just to look for their to marry them. They kind of just look for that person just to have in the moment. They don't really look long term as much.
Okay, now that we got the single people out the way, I think a relationship is.
Hey, you funny.
Hey, buddy.
Okay. But no, like
4 months
seriously.
in, I'm finna marry you.
Yeah. Anyways, a relationship should always. What people look for today is like what Conrad was saying. Like people just like look for the moment. That's what a lot of people do, but realistically, it should be someone you want to settle down with, make the best memories with, and don't date for now, date for the future.
True.
And
There you go.
a relationship should never be 60-40, 50-50. I mean, it should be 50-50, but like
You should be.
You should be
altogether.
put-
It should be
yeah.
whole.
both sides of the relationship should be having 100% effort. No one can go half or less. And if there is that, y'all talk about it. If it doesn't work, then it doesn't work. But most people these days don't get how a relationship is. They're just using it for attention.
So then, just to piggyback off of that, why don't you feel like people understand?
Well, a lot of people
That.
cheat these days now. I mean, cheating's always been a thing, but like this generation specifically, Gen Z, is like really messed up with dating. Like, there's not a lot of nice people no more. And like people don't really actually want to get to know someone. They just want to get to know someone to use their body. And that's really messed up.
I'm gonna be honest. Like I was lucky that way too. I was in like this 10-month relationship, the first relationship I'd ever been in, and to me, I got in that situation where that shit got sexual quick. And as like a 14-year-old, like getting intimate with somebody is your dream. You feel me?
Yep.
I never cheated, but one thing I realized I craved more than the relationship with the person was the sexual aspect. And it didn't take me till after the relationship when I realized that like this woman that was in my life genuinely benefited me in so many more ways that was more than pleasure. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but to add on to that, it's like, so people that look for sexual relations, like, yeah, it's good, but like if you guys are gonna be that close, y'all should like really know each other before getting that close. And even then, it's like if you guys have that spark and everything is there, it should feel real, and it shouldn't just be like, oh yeah, feels good. It should be like we have a good relationship. We love each other, and everything just seems so right in the moment. It doesn't. It shouldn't just be like, oh yeah, I'm gonna fuck and then dip.
But I mean, I get what you mean. It doesn't always start off that way. Like there's so many situations in which people get with people. Like y'all could be friends for like 4 or 5 years, and then finally, something comes up, and you're like, maybe I should ask this person out. And then obviously that feels right from there. But also, like some people can just sleep with one person and be like, damn, I want to do this again, and they keep going back. Like it doesn't have to. I don't know. I don't feel like. There's so many aspects in a relationship that if you find one connection, that's kind of where it starts. Just like, getting attracted to somebody in general, it's like you're more attracted by the similarities at first than the differences. You know what I mean?
Right. But like also like if you gonna get to the bedroom at any point with a woman, don't just do it like a hookup. Like, yeah, there's people that do it for hookups and they're perfectly happy, but I feel that like most people, once they do that, they also feel a little greed. Like they don't mess with it. Like
They don't mess with the relationship and they like to be single type thing.
yeah, like that's what I'm talking about. Like Gen Z, just like people in general that have that aspect and that mentality don't want to ever just like get into a real relationship. And then once they find that person, when you find your person, it's just like so much of a better feeling because like y'all are connecting one-on-one. And it's just like the greatest feeling of all time. Like it's better than like, it's not just sex. It's everything around it. Sex plus history and how you guys are together. It's a better feeling. Like, so if you were to go out and go have sex with someone and then you're not dating them, you guys are just like messing around.
Yeah.
Compared to a relationship that you guys actually love each other and have a good bond, it's so much more real than just sex. Like it's like very hard to, how can I put this? It's hard to say what it is. You just really have to experience it yourself. When you find that person, you'll know it's right.
I got an idea. Conrad, you never been in not trying to out you, but stay pure, homie. Like, have you been in a relationship before?
No.
All right, so this makes it even better, right? Like, what do you want out of a relationship? Like, what is the thing that you're looking for?
If
Like,
you are looking.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing. I don't even like know what I'd be looking for. I just want to like, I don't know.
He's just
just
chilling
have
right
somebody to like talk to, relate to, and then shit goes from
Yeah.
there. I feel like that's
Somebody like to like be there for me, you know,
yeah.
like somebody I could just talk to and stuff.
If you really gonna look for a relationship, don't do it just for the sex. Do it for like to like really be wholesome and know that that person has your back
Yeah.
and like you guys like really have a good connection. Like connection is everything. Like yeah, it comes to a point where that connection might break, but if y'all are able to talk and go past it, then it's just y'all know it's like if you guys really love each other, you guys will get past it.
Yeah.
So I think
Here's the alpha brain coming out.
I think that like honestly, people will get into a relationship just because they want that physical connection with somebody.
Right.
And like a lot of people will get into a relationship because of the wrong reasons. And like, just because I'm feeling alone, right? So I heard this quote not long ago. And it was this guy who was saying, you guys might have seen it. But this guy, he was in a grocery store and he's like, you never go grocery shopping when you're hungry because you'll get the wrong thing.
Yeah.
And the same goes in life. Never get into a relationship when you're feeling lonely, because when you're lonely,
You're desperate.
you're desperate.
Yeah.
And you'll go for anything.
Right.
Yeah.
Thought that was just so cool.
I like that.
No, that's real. That is the truth.
So then if people are feeling lonely and I don't know, maybe need that physical touch or whatever that they're saying, what do you think would be the best thing for them?
They need the physical touch. Hey, so
I guess that's the best way I could put it into words.
yeah, I mean, I was in that relationship and I'm out 2 years now. I ain't done anything intimate other than make out with a couple chicks here and there. One and few far between, but it's more about the mindset, man. It's a bigger struggle listening to media outlets, like listening to modern like hip hop, rap music, and especially a lot of like people being single, going out and doing etc. with people. You know what I mean? Like there's a lot of instances in our modern culture now where it's like the single life isn't made out to be so bad. So to those who truly do want that, like, that feeling, that touch, it comes down to like what you're doing for yourself every day. You know what I mean? Like you can't get with somebody.
It's like your priorities.
Yeah, exactly. You can't like if you're thinking about someone else while you yourself are in a position where like a relationship or an intimate relationship or a one night stand, like when someone else is involved, if you're at a bad place, then why would you truly want to do that? And I get it. It happens. My opinion, it ain't a bad thing. Life be life. You go on, do what you do. But it comes down to like if you're watching porn or whatnot, if you're listening to, these rappers go off and live their extravagant life with coke and Brazilian booty, like it's I don't know. It's if you're yearning for that intimate touch, you gotta slow down, man. Like, hey, if you plan on being lonely, you're gonna be lonely. But if you want it, then you gotta have a different mindset. You gotta take different actions.
So I think a lot of people get into a relationship, and a big reason for that is because they're looking for a sense of value, like a sense of purpose.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so people normally are like, I mean, and I did this for a long time. So I was like going from relationship to relationship. I mean, like in air quotes, relationship to relationship.
No, I felt I was doing that for a minute, and then I found a person I truly like, and you just gotta have the trust. How everything goes, like trust is a big thing. Like a lot of people have trust issues. I for sure had trust issues, but I really do trust this person. I know I'm gonna do everything in my power to make it work. It's just like it's such a different feeling. Like liking someone and loving someone's different. And then there's like even like love, and then like loving your family, and then loving a person that is not related to you is so much different too. It's like it's just a crazy thing, and people gotta find it. They don't have to if you don't want to, but like if you really like what Gavin was going off of, or Kevin, whatever his nickname. It's like, yeah, if you want it, don't just go out for it. Low key, love takes time, and sometimes you have to wait. Yeah, you go after it, and you might find it, but also if you wait, you might find that too. And it's just like it's all a waiting game, finding the right person, and knowing that you really like truly love someone. It's just a different feeling. That's what I'm trying to get at.
Plus, if you wait, it's way more rewarding once you actually get it too. Because if you're just going out and you're always like getting that physical touch or whatever you want, when you finally find your like person that you like finally want to settle down with and stuff, it's gonna be just like they're just gonna be another person. It's not gonna be anything like too special because you've already had it time over and again.
Yeah, so that okay, I was gonna go somewhere else, but now that you said that, that brings me into the whole like, and I know everybody has a crazy different opinion on this. So like body count.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like, look, I don't know, just people are like, oh, body count doesn't matter. Like you're shaming me if you want to know what my body count is. So we're talking about like,
Okay.
waiting for the right relationship, and how it's so much more rewarding when you get into the right relationship. But I was kind of thinking about that, and I was like, that brings up like the whole body count topic. So like, honestly, okay, so for me, the way I view it is, so I was talking with this one girl, and she was like, really into me, whatever. And I was like, okay, so I asked her what her body count was.
Yeah.
Oof.
And she said, why would you ask me that? You're such a like terrible person, whatever. And it doesn't really matter. But to me, eventually she was like, yeah, it's 13 or whatever. I'm like, 13? Like, do you remember these guys' names? It's like, she's like, no. And I'm like, okay, so then why would I want to be with somebody who's, there's no like connection. It's like no intimacy, I guess, I don't know. That's just the way I see it.
I get what you mean. I think love is spontaneous, though. Like it, man. Like you can't predict when love is gonna happen. You just know it when it happens. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You can't let's say she went through those 13 men, expecting hopefully to find one dude. Like, I'm sure any man's thought about, or any person, like you get into a one night stand, and what if they stay for breakfast? And it goes from there. Love is just spontaneous, man. I honestly don't think the body count matters, in my opinion. And you could disagree. I know you probably do. But again, to the mindset. If you're going hookup after hookup just for the pleasure of it, then I feel like that's the difference between wanting love.
Yeah, I think it's not a huge deal, but it's like the reason behind it.
Yeah.
The reason behind the numbers. It's like if you were going around just because you were like wanted to raise that number, or you just just wanted to, that's totally different from like, oh, it was with my boyfriends that I was like close with or whatever. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
That's
like
facts.
you guys had a real connection. Okay,
Yeah.
but like I agree with Kevin over here. Like the whole body thing is really dependent on how like you anticipate it. It's like if you're just going out to have fun and that little physical attention for that long and that's it. But if you're also going for like obviously every person wants to have that feeling because it is a good feeling. But if it's like for love, it's I don't know, it's so different than hooking up with like someone random and then having no interest in and just saying bye, when it could really hurt another person's feelings. Like if you connect with someone, y'all get and do that and they want to keep seeing you after that, yeah, it might be just because it was good, but like at the other time it could be like they develop feelings. And another person doing that to someone else, it can make the other person heartbroken. But I don't feel like you should ever push for that. Like if you're looking for love, look for love. Don't look for sexual intentions. Yes, they will come along as you go, but they're not just gonna spawn like that. You know what I'm saying?
Now let me put it this way, right? Let's say you're a boss at some company and you have one person come through and his resume is I've worked this place, I've worked that place, I've worked this industry, I've worked that industry, right? But they went to jail for, let's say, tax evasion, right? It's white collar crime.
That'd be me.
Yeah, you could, the way you see it, like, oh, this is a crime. Probably don't want somebody under here that's, the body count. I'm just trying to, this is a metaphor for the body count, right? As an employer, right? If they have all the qualifications, but they have, the one thing holding them back, then are you gonna hire them? You know what I mean? It's not.
It's like where they're at currently.
Exactly. And if
it's
they
like,
come back to it in a different mindset and
right,
they're like, hey, like, I've gone through all this. I've gone through many men, like 50 Cent style, and she ready for like.
That was a good one.
Okay. I see what you're saying.
Yeah. It's about like where they're at.
It's really
at the
difficult.
Moment, you know what I mean? If you're looking for a relationship and they're looking for a hookup, maybe that's not the best situation for you to be in. But if they're looking for a relationship and you're looking for a relationship and things happen to fall in, then why not play it out?
Yeah.
And I feel like it's the mindset and not the past. I don't believe by judging people by their past. I think that's wrong.
Yeah.
But
no, I
their actions
yeah.
so much louder.
I feel like I have something to say, but it's really hard for me to put this in
It's
words.
probably the alpha pills. You got so much testosterone going on right now. This head's expanding right now.
Yeah. Okay. So with the whole body count thing, I feel like it shows like
Shows a journey, dog.
yeah, but it shows like, in my opinion, like your self-discipline, and also like people are looking at it like, oh, your body count's only 1. That's so low. Like, what, you can't get any play or whatever. But the way I see it is I
ain't got no play.
You could get some, but it's like based off of how like you're willing to go get it. This is really hard for me to say.
I see what you're saying. It's like,
but that's why I'm saying love is spontaneous, dog. You can't just blindly walk into every situation with a chick and expect it to be for real. It's gonna happen when it happens.
Yeah.
And there's no reason to force it or put it on self-discipline. Like, oh, I'm just gonna go out and get a chick today. I'm gonna go to the bar and swindle some chick into giving her my number. Like, it could happen like that, but it's just how spontaneous is it not happening. You know what I mean? And
yeah.
What you were saying about self-discipline, because I think that's a good point. Like,
it shows like your.
I like to think about the past. You know what I mean? I don't judge people by the past, but I will say, like, if they have, let's say, like body count greater than like 20, right? You got to think about where they started. You feel me? Like, let's say they grew up in a broken home and their daddy's not even there, and he's all with a lot of people. Like, what do you think the person's gonna be doing? You feel me? Like, their influence, the way they grew up, mommy bringing home other dudes, daddy bringing home other dudes. Like, I know what that's like. My mom had many boyfriends. My dad cheated on a lot of women, but it's like
so then like
it's the way they grew up
right
and were raised. Not everybody.
I totally
is
agree.
As fortunate as they're like.
No, yeah.
have that stable of like
Yeah, like both parents in the
a loving
Yeah.
monogamous relationship. Not everybody gets to see that, and that's why I feel like dating right now is so messed up, especially with the divorce rates right now. Like divorce rates are higher than they've ever been. So many broken homes, and that's why so many people are just getting with so many other people. You know what I mean? Like, it's sad, but what do you expect a person to do when all they knew was to go on and get with someone else? You know what I mean?
Yeah, and there's always going to be those bad people that do that.
Yeah.
Then some of them will learn, and others will just, I don't want to say everyone, but like some people are just never going to ever find out
Some
because
people
they
just
don't want
to
it.
change.
Yeah, they
Exactly.
they don't like change.
You can't force change unless it's wanted.
So
Exactly.
look, if you were gonna, if you're like ready to settle down, you're
Yeah.
like looking for a wife, right? I'm just saying, like, to this perspective, would you go for that person who's like totally chill with hooking up on the first date, or somebody who's like gonna reserve themselves a little bit? It's like, I don't know. In my opinion, it's like if you're down to just hook up with any guy, it shows that, like, are you ready to get into like a real intimate relationship with somebody? Because like marriage is like, that's a big deal, you know. And it's like,
Think about the
you
lack
know,
of religion.
everybody's like,
like
sex is just it's a good thing, and it's like, it feels good, you know,
it's a workout.
whatever, right?
For real.
But
Bodybuilders smash like 4 times a day.
I don't know. I feel like that shows like how much level, like what level you can trust somebody also. And it's like, you know, when I'm with somebody, it's not the fact that I don't want to do these things.
Right.
It's just it's like when you base a relationship and you start it with,
You base
That
your
stuff-
relationships on faith.
That's how you're going to interpret the whole relationship.
Yeah.
so
That's-
yeah, it's like when you start a relationship off with all this physical touch and whatever, then the whole relationship is gonna be based off of that. When I think it should be based off of like having those hard conversations and whatever. And it's like, yeah, you could still have those hard conversations, but like in your mind, it's hard for me to say. It's like, you see what I'm saying?
No, I get what you like. I was waiting. I was gonna wait for you to finish. But I feel like the biggest part, not even about just dating in general, is about being uncomfortable in life. You know what I mean? Like being uncomfortable in life brings you to so many new answers. You know what I mean? If you're comfortable hooking up, if you're comfortable being in a relationship, and then you just get too comfortable, it's not always a good thing. Like if you're in a relationship and you're uncomfortable in the sense of lacking communication or being not truly trustful in a girl's trip out to Miami, like it's okay to have distance, and it's okay to have that uncomfortable feeling, because there's a solution. You get cheated on, you're gone. Like, you know what I mean? Like you ain't gonna be with no cheater.
Okay,
Yeah, no, for real.
okay. So, listen. So, cheating. Okay. So, I think a big thing with like trust and whatever, if you're trying to get into a serious relationship. So, like, if I was to hook up with somebody on the first date, and then it goes farther, and it's like, you know, we like each other or whatever, I feel like I would constantly be like worried if they're gonna cheat on me, because if they're just willing to hook up with me on the first date, that shows like no loyalty, you know, and no like boundaries with people, and like
Yeah, because it wasn't that real connection at first. Like
Right.
it wasn't built up.
Right.
It was just immediately like that's what whoever
Yes.
you and someone wanted, or like it. Yeah, continue.
that's what I'm trying to say. It's like it's not about like necessarily the number, but it's about that. It's like, can I trust you? And it's like if somebody's willing to do that and you barely know each other, it's like I think that shows character. You know, shows
yeah,
who
it
they
definitely
are.
shows a part
Yeah.
of character, but also it could like
But there's so many more aspects of
There
person's
really
character.
is. There is, and it's like it's also what you're okay with. You know, it's
well,
like,
can I add on to real quick?
Yeah.
It's like with that whole situation, it's like that one saying, like, never judge a book by its cover. I always like have lived by that. And it's, I don't know, it's really hard to tell, like, if you're willing to hook up with like, I've done it once. I'm not gonna lie, I hooked up first day meeting this girl, and then we ended up dating because I caught feelings. We don't talk about it, but anyways, like, it happened and it was so good, and then she was just going down this path, and I was trying to help her out, saying maybe you should stop, maybe you should quit, but I wasn't trying to also be controlling too, because that also plays a big part. And it's like, I don't, when I'm dating someone like how I am right now, I could see a future with us. No matter what, there's always some that could go gone just because of just like a little mess up. Like,
So
in my relationship,
real quick,
no,
can
not
I,
like that. but-
can I like cut you off real
yeah,
quick?
cut me off real
So
quick.
you said you could see a future with this happening. Hold on. You can see a future with this happening.
Mm-hmm.
So you're okay to wait.
I'm perfectly fine waiting. Like,
So that's what I'm
It's-
saying.
Can I say something real quick? If there's any motherfucker that could wait, it's Davino, dog. He is probably one of the most devoted homies I know, and he's got supreme patience with people, and it's really impressive. I will say that,
I do appreciate that, bro.
of course, man.
But like, no, it's just like, if you're like, yeah, of course I want to, but at the same time, I'm not gonna go out my way and just say, yeah, let's do it this day, because it should never be planned. It should it really should just, like, if it's gonna happen, it happens in a moment. And
Spontaneousness.
yeah, spontaneousness, exactly. Just bringing it back to that, because that makes it real. If you plan it, then you know, you're like, oh yeah, I'll be back, guys. I'm gonna go pipe, and then I'm gonna come back. But anyway, it's like, that's the truth. That's the truth. Like, it's so different. Wait, like, if you wait, it's just, yeah, it's better because you guys get to actually know each other on a real level. It's not like, oh yeah, you're gonna judge me based off our first experience. It's however it goes, you know what I'm saying? So I don't know, waiting is probably best, but like, if it does happen, like, some people want to wait till they're like married, but if it happens and they really love that person, then it works, then, like, I see the whole, like, I know my boy Jameson's Christian, but like, I don't know how you are on the whole, like, waiting on marriage then. But like, if it just happens and it's like y'all love each other, y'all got to that level, it should never be like, oh yeah, I don't want to ever do that again just because, like, I rushed into it. If it just happened, it couldn't have been planned. Like, you can't plan that. It's so real in the moment.
All right, can I go off on a little? So, me being a Christian right now, and you can take this however you want, but I'm just gonna say what I believe, right? So,
Right.
Your parents have rules, right?
Always will.
So, would you let a 4-year-old drive a car?
No.
No. Right? Okay, so, and why?
Because they're
I can't even
4
touch
and
the pedals.
they can barely communicate as well.
Exactly.
And they can't
Okay.
really see over the wheel.
So I thought this was just so cool. And it's like our parents do the same thing. They have rules for us because we cannot see what they have seen through their own experience.
right.
And the same is with God. He has these rules out for us. He says, don't have sex before marriage, whatever. He's got all these rules for us, but people keep saying, like, interpreting that as rules, but really what's happening is he's trying to give us the best life we can have, he's trying to give us the best life we can have, but us being people, we want to do our own thing, right? But it's just, God has so much more for us that we can't see because we don't have the experience, like we can't
Exactly.
see what he can see.
Exactly.
So it's like, yeah, it's
Getting into those situations though, like, how all the commandments, all that. Yeah, God's just really trying to set up the best life for you. And without the experience, though, you'll never know. Like, someone could die just not knowing to do anything. But like, if you have the experience, it's like, yeah, my life sucked at this point, but I got so much experience. I know what I want. I know what I'm looking for. And I know who I want to be in a real relationship with. And I don't know, it's just crazy because, like, yeah, he's playing the best life, but people are always going to sin or, like, do anything they want just because that's what they want to do. It's not because they want to listen. A lot of people don't like listening no more. And that's a big thing with relationships, like listening to someone really like, if you could listen to someone for hours and hours, but they can't listen to you, why be there? Because all you're doing is feeding them what they want, and you're not feeding yourself what you want on your own side. Like, it's all about boundaries as well.
I don't know how religious we trying to be on this podcast, but one thing I do know, and this is my personal belief.
Hey, this is free for
free.
whatever you believe, man. Like, whatever your opinion is. Like,
So I'm not gonna get like beat with a steak when I leave, right?
No.
Some shit. All right, all
I
right.
mean, you might, but
So- all right, so I'll keep this on the DL.
But,
No,
hey,
no, no, no.
As far as the audience knows, no, you won't.
Okay. So I feel like religion is by each their own. I feel like there's three things that control someone's existence entirely. You have good and moral, you have evil and temptation, and then you have flesh and living, right? Basic Christian philosophical principles, as we all know. Not everybody, but some people do know them. In all of Scripture, there's telling us these stories and these events of Christ and before Christ and these miracle works. What I will say, I personally do not believe every story in the Bible, but I believe that every story in the Bible does have a message. And philosophically, I'm inclined to believe that no matter who you are around the world, that the Scripture teaches the good and morals. And the one path to salvation is to follow those good and morals. You could be in, just some random faraway country without the spread of Christianity or Catholic or any sort of gospel or Christ in it, and not know how to be saved in our terms. But they know how to be saved in their terms by living good and morally. And I feel like it kind of plays hand in hand in a relationship. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know
You
what
could
you're saying.
only try to be so good and do everything you can the way that you believe is good. And there's nothing wrong with trying to be the best person that you can be and living that way. But where there is good, there is temptation. And no matter what you do, there's always going to be a part of you, those intrusive thoughts that are going to be like, nah, maybe this time I roofie her. Or, just some really bad, messed up stuff. And those are the temptations and those are the evils that a lot of people face. You know what I mean? A lot of really, really messed up realities that people grow up into. And then there's the fleshly desires. There are those that just live to survive. You could have a spouse and you could use that spouse specifically for, your needs, like for food or for cleanliness. There's a difference between getting into a relationship and being your best self and then only living by the flesh. And I feel like a lot of relationships nowadays, like, you might have to bleep this one. I'll give you the thumbs up. Bitch, make me a sandwich.
Oh,
That was a little late.
the wrong part.
Well,
that was
well.
awesome.
Anyways, y'all, like, make me a sandwich, wench, or stuff like that. Like,
That's pretty terrible, though.
no, it is terrible, but to some people, that's the way a relationship should be. Like, it should be, I provide and you support.
Okay.
Next topic. I'm
Now-
assuming you're going with this.
Now that you said that,
Yeah.
so then, like, what do you think about gender roles?
Gender roles, I think, are it's shit, man. If your woman makes the money, then she makes the money. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think there should be a particular gender role. I feel like there should be, like, honestly, this is how I would do it. In case any ladies are listening, I'm always gonna be walking street side. I'm never gonna let somebody have the opportunity to run you over with a car.
Right.
If you're in a bad situation, I'm gonna hold your hand. I'm gonna take you. I'm gonna make sure if you're saying some whack shit about how Hitler was a good man, then I'm gonna slap a hoe. You might need to cut that out. Actually, please cut that out. I ain't gonna slap no person over words. I'm just gonna say I'm gonna put you in your place. I feel like gender roles nowadays are support and provide. I feel like now there's so many opportunities for all gender roles to do so much more. You know, women are getting paid more. There's still a big gap in salary. There's still a lot of inequalities, but there's differences.
So like, can I go off of that real quick?
There always is. Yeah.
Like, yeah. So gender roles, I think, I mean, it's however it goes, but like, I don't think someone should be like if I provide, like both of y'all, like if you guys don't have kids, both of you can provide. Like everyone is going to provide something, and then there's always going to be those things that a person can't provide because it's not in their capability. But gender roles are just like one of the most stupid things this world has ever made in its life. Like saying women can't be stronger than men. You've seen some of these bodybuilders?
Dude, I could get slapped around by some of these women. Lean me out. Hey, mama. Shit.
You know what I'm saying? It's like, bro, it's like
She can squat for me.
Like at this point, like women empowerment is such a big thing too. Like there's been mobs, always have been mobs and like personal opinions on it. But like, I don't think a man and a woman should be treated different at all. It's like everyone should be treated equally. Everyone's a person, you know, and gender shouldn't say like what the rules are or nothing. A person is a person, and that's how life should be.
Yeah. A person's a person, but I mean, like, I think that honestly, like, yes, there is like, if a guy can't provide, and it's like, I totally think it's totally fine for like women to work and like women to be providers, or like if a woman's stronger than a dude, like, yeah, that's totally cool, happens. Whatever. But
oh no,
where was I going with this?
We're talking about gender roles.
But yeah, bro. Yeah, you go, Conrad.
Yeah.
Your turn.
And I was not the past couple of things I just hadn't know what to say, but no, okay, I don't really know. There's a couple different things. I don't really know what to think all about the whole like gender roles now and stuff, but I do know that God gave like man versus woman. Like there's some things, yeah, there's differences. Like men, they have testosterone, so they're supposed to be stronger and like do all the harder work than women. Women are supposed to, I don't know, like
maybe,
I don't know,
like,
I don't know how to word it, but like men are supposed to be the providers and do like the harder work and stuff for the women.
and
I don't know where I'm going with this.
I don't think it's bad for women to do hard work and whatever, but it's like we have been built differently. And when you try and go against that and you're trying to say like, okay, so society, you know, with all the feminism and everything, like empower women and whatever. Yeah, that's great. Empower women, like whatever floats your boat. Like, yes, let's do that. But I feel like at the same time, they're trying to put down men. And I feel like in not just my opinion, but I've heard a lot of other people talk about this, but men, I feel like are supposed to be the anchor in a household and also in society. So like, if you see like strong men disappearing in a society and you see, and like what's happening today, everybody's becoming these like, you know, masculinity is being attacked in our society today.
Yeah.
And what happens with that is when we don't have an anchor to hold down like our moral, like our values, our traditions, our society is going to collapse. Because And it's like, yes, women do a great job in these roles, and they do a great job in powerful situations and whatever. That good for them. But when you don't have men who are like leading, because I think men are supposed to be that, and also biologically they perform less out of emotion than women. Like women are more emotional.
Can I stop you right there?
You see what I'm saying though?
Yeah, I get your point, but also like there's some women that don't have feelings either. A person's gonna be a person. However they grew up is how it's gonna be grown. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, all these single moms out here are doing their best to provide for their children and stuff.
And being a single mom is the hardest it's ever been nowadays. It is absolutely wild. I wrote a whole research paper on it. And there's a lot of times where single mothers go up for housing vouchers and stuff like that and just get plain out denied. And like, how the hell are you supposed to provide for a child if you can't even provide housing that the government, etc. There's a lot of hypocrisy in a lot of our systems. Like, oh, we're going to provide this, provide that. And when it comes, it's provided by the government, yes. But then when it comes down to a landlord, the landlord's going to deny. It's like the same thing in Texas with the private schooling. Yeah, we're going to take, it has, I don't think it's happened. Idea was we're going to take money from public schooling to put children into private schooling. Issue with taking money from public schooling is don't take money away from public schooling. I feel like that's just the way it should be. But it's, I don't know.
Okay, what?
Yeah.
Let me get back to me. No, but like, however a person grew up, like they're single moms, they're single dads. If you really think about it, like how you were saying, like man should have their priorities, but women also have their priorities.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like, that's just a person. People are going to always have what they can do and what they can't do. But back in the day, it's not the same what it is today.
Mm-hmm.
And now anyone could do anything they want now.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's all about your dedication and stuff. Women, yeah, if they're making more money, then they're the breadwinner. But like also at the same time, if the guy's making more money, he's the breadwinner. It's like it could go either or, left or right. But no one should be thinking that they have like a higher power just because of anything.
All
that.
So also that goes kind of with like, say like there's like a more feminine dude in a relationship and a more masculine lady. That can happen. I'm not saying that's can't happen or that's bad. That's totally fine because, you know, yeah, everybody is their own person. Everybody was raised different and believes different things. You know, everybody's different. But I don't know what my butt is.
Yeah, that's all I'm trying to figure out.
Oh, I'm just trying to say though, like at the same time, while everybody's different, it's like men like genetically have differences than women. And it's like they should be complementing each other, you know? And I feel like that's what is trying to be taken away these days is like women should be doing I feel like they're trying to switch the roles and they're like, oh, well, it's fine. Men can be the guys just sitting at home cooking and cleaning and women can do this. Yes, they can, but I don't know. I just feel like people are trying to change the roles, you know, like.
Well, I don't even think, in my opinion, I don't think the roles are, to me, they're not a big thing. Like, I don't see like men having more power than women. I don't see women having more power than men. I think everyone should be treated equally.
Yeah.
Like how I said, a person is a person, and that's just how life is. Like, you're going to treat, some people really do be treating their dogs like people, but like at the same time, they're not a person. But they are loved and cared for as if it was a human. But, you know, it's just, it all comes down to like, I think everyone should just be treated equally, but this society ain't going to never see that. There's always going to have to be one in power, one in not.
So then, okay, so if everybody's supposed to be treated equally, oh, never mind. That's a really bad thing to say. Never mind. I don't want people hearing that.
Before we change subject, if we are going to be talking about like gender differences, right? Genetically, women have a higher mental capacity than a lot of men. Just plain and simple. see more colors, taste more things, broader emotional understanding. So they're just emotionally more intelligent than a lot of people. I feel like in that aspect, if we are going to look at a role, I feel like if there is a role, shit, your shawty should be your overseer. Like, not saying that you can't make your own decisions. I'm saying that second opinion matters though. And like having that emotionally complex, deeper understanding of certain situations is important, just as making the move. You know, men are bold. They do what they want more often, and it's not taken away by an emotional barrier, but having that difference in opinion, like you were saying, having your partner compliment you is very, very powerful. And just the communication aspect of valuing those emotional opinions, it's pretty magical, you know what I mean? Like,
So then, if everybody's equal and whatnot, right?
Okay.
Then like, if somebody's coming in your house and they're gonna start shooting people, you just gonna let your lady just take the first shots and you're gonna run?
Well, no, but like, listen at the same time, like everyone, like, yeah, bro. If my girl does that, she a badass on God. But like, I'm not gonna miss.
She body blocks and shots.
No, I'm saying if she takes the first shot, like, are you saying like she's gonna get shot first, or?
I'm just saying, like for you, what would happen in that situation?
Like if someone was coming
You
in,
would
robbing
like,
me.
you would put her somewhere, like hide her or whatever, and you take care of it, right?
Well, yeah, I would.
That's
But like,
I believe in.
But like, listen, there's always gonna be that person. It's just really dependent on like each other. Y'all care about each other a lot. At the end of the day, if someone's robbing you and happens one of you gets shot, then one of you gets shot. Hopefully, when y'all make it. But like at the same time, it's like someone's gonna have to stand up, and it's gonna either be you or the lovely woman you're with.
At the end of the day, in my opinion, I can't reproduce. I can only give the seed.
Exactly.
My woman, she could have another child, and that child can go on and live another brilliant life. You know what
Exactly.
I mean? I feel like protecting the person that could keep our society and the next generation going is important. And I feel like that's like, if we're gonna say gender role, I feel like a dominant masculine figure protecting the one that can reproduce is very, very valuable. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, that's real. I'm just saying, like, okay, I don't want to seem like I wouldn't protect my girlfriend because, like, if anything, she knows I'm overprotective.
Yeah.
Well, a lot of people would say I'm overprotective of my girlfriend. Like, I don't even like her talking to another guy, but I'm not gonna say, like, I'll tell her I don't like that guy, but if it's her friend, it's her friend. Like, but if they try some, I'm gonna do something about it. But at the end of the day, if they're just friends, they're just friends. And back to that whole, like, someone robbing the house and plan on killing someone, I'm obviously going to step in the way no matter what. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to make sure the kids are good if we have kids. She's okay and she can keep living her life. If I have to take my life for hers, I would gladly do it in a heartbeat. But if she tried to get in the way, it's like, you never know. Someone's going to get, if at that point, if one of you all at gunpoint, say both of y'all in the same room and they say we're going to kill someone, both of y'all are going to care so much about each other that you might both just say, like, take me. At that point, it's whether the guy chooses to shoot or he's like, doesn't know what the fuck to do and tries robbing the whole house at that point. But I'm always, no matter what, whichever role you play, it's like not even like a role. It's just like really about caring about each other. No matter what, I'm going to try getting in the way of the bullet to make sure it doesn't hit my girlfriend. But I feel like she would try to do the same thing, but I'm not going to let it happen. You know what I'm saying? It's just a big part that plays both sides. Like, you got to look at it. Like, if you have a loved one. Yeah, so, like, if you have loved ones, someone's going to obviously go. But obviously, I'm going to do my best power making sure everyone else is safe. But they're going to also do the same thing, you know? And
I
I
think
don't know. You know what I'm trying to say, though?
yeah.
Like,
Yeah. And I just think I wanted to bring this up because I feel like people are trying to confuse this, because I genuinely feel like we're kind of trying to say the same thing, and I feel like we're all trying to say the same thing, but I feel like people are trying to just reverse it and like cause confusion. You know, I feel like people are trying to like,
because everybody's able to give their own opinions nowadays. You know what I mean? You go on TikTok and you could just say, I think all men are dirty hoes. Okay, and she just made her opinion known. The whole world could see it.
Well, opinions
Now-
are like a bird shitting on.
Yeah, opinions are like assholes, dog. Everybody's got one.
Exactly.
Like, you know what I mean? And now it's so much easier to state your opinion. And now everybody's just craving the attention from stating their attention.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? It's just the intentions. Like, I like what you were saying, dog. Like, I really do. Everybody really does kind of feel the same way about in certain things. But it's just now that, like, getting attention and the ability to give your opinion is so much easier than it has been, that it's you know, it's why not do it at this point? You know what I mean?
Yeah. All right. Before we change like topics or whatever and like start going into opinions and
you're
all
gonna
that
have
crap.
to start like cutting in or something.
Yeah, I know. Sorry. I was thinking about a little analogy. It's not like perfect and stuff, but I mean, if it doesn't really make sense, you can just cut it out, it's whatever. But about the like gender roles and stuff, like I believe there's a lot of things like they should be treated equally, like male and female treated equally with a lot of things, but there's some things that are like they should just be treated different. For example, if you have, let's say, like this person that works in engineering and this person that works in like medical and stuff, like obviously they're both people, like they both like have similarities and stuff. But if you have a question about like if somebody's dying and stuff and you have those two people, obviously you're going to pick the person in medical to go help them, because that's how like their mind works and they already know how to like deal with that. I don't know if that makes any sense. Like, but like that person is
Like
crap.
how you'd want your wife to care for the kids. Like, she birthed
Exactly.
them. She can nurture them. She
Yeah.
gave them milk. Like, unless she bought store-bought baby milk.
Anyways,
That's
like,
a bad
no,
idea.
it's just like what y'all are trying to say. It's like, yeah, I don't know what I'm trying to get at, but what I'm trying to say is like, yeah, that whole little analogy you made with the engineer and the medical. Obviously, you're gonna pick the medical, but like, you're gonna want both. Everyone needs to just care for each other, but at the end of the day, someone will take the blame. Like, say me and Kevin went out and did like some graffiti or whatever. One of us is gonna take the blame, but like if it was a girl and a guy, I think the guy's gonna take the blame, even if the girl did it. But that's just because like you care about the other one, and I mean,
Yeah, so
it's just crazy.
then I feel like maybe roles isn't a good word to use, because I feel like that's where we get confused, because I genuinely think that we're kind of saying the same thing.
No, we are, but like,
But it's
we're
the
putting it in different
wording
ways. Yeah, exactly.
That's different. I feel like that's where the confusion is coming from.
Yeah, like roles just separates everyone, you know, and I don't think everyone should be separated. Like with like how not trying to be like all like, oh yeah, blah 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 blah. But anyways, like back in the day, why were blacks treated different than whites? Just because of their skin? They're still humans. There's guys and girls. You know what I'm saying? So like nothing should have been different about it. Like everyone could work. You know what I'm saying? Like it was like I watched this movie and it was the Green Mile by Stephen King. And it's a great movie. But like
I've never seen it yet.
you haven't seen it yet?
No,
Well,
dude.
pretty much there's this guy named John Coffey and he goes to jail for killing 2 little girls. But he has God's powers. So he could like he tried to help and it wasn't his fault. But since he was there holding them, he got the blame for it. And he's seen eventually that guy that he got put in for murdering and raping them for these 2 little girls. And later in the movie, there's this guy that comes in and touches John Coffey, and John Coffey sees the whole vision. That guy was the killer and the rapist of the 2 little girls. But since he got caught with them, they just blamed him just because he's, I don't know. I don't know if it's like black and white thing, but like in that movie, you don't see a black cop. You know what I'm saying? And that was like older, but like people shouldn't be treated differently just because one has more than the other.
Right. But then does that mean that we should try and go out of our way to lift up somebody else? So like what I'm trying to say is like in society, I feel like people are trying to, if everybody's equal and whatever, everybody's trying to lift up women, push men down.
That's facts.
Like lift up black people, push white people down. And it's like everybody's saying, oh, we're equal. But it's like, if we're equal, then why are we like pushing these people down? And like, you know what I'm saying?
Well, yeah,
like
but the whole society
Have
is
you
just
ever
messed
been
up.
the white boy on the block?
Yes.
I know Davino has. But
Somewhat,
have you
but
ever
like-
been? I'm not trying to argue. I'm just saying,
Yeah.
like, have you ever been in the situation where you was the only white dude on the block?
Yes.
So they's coming from a background of oppression, dog. Their great grandparents was picking cotton. Our great grandparents was distributing that generational wealth, dog. We've had the bloodlines. We've had everything that's just been in our favor for a while. Same thing with the male patriarchy. You know what I mean?
But
Yeah.
it's like there's a level to like how much, like what needs to happen to like justify that. You know, it's like,
Yeah. I guess.
do you need an apology? Do you need like what do you need? Because like
Yeah.
they're not making it
It
clear.
it's
feel
not,
like-
and I think that's a good point. Like saying like, what do you need? It's not necessarily like, in my opinion, if somebody's like, oh, this is actually kind of crazy because there's an episode in the show Atlanta where if like all the African American people, right? If their parents was into slavery, then the white people would get sued and they lose all their money. And it's just this big outbreak of, just craziness because all them white people's getting sued for their grandparents owning slaves and stuff like that. You know what I mean? And it even goes back, like way back to like Austrian stuff, etc. What I'm trying to say here, though, is I think what comes down to it is just people being good people. And this movement is showing light to the ways that some people should act. It's people are always going to want, people are always going to be greedy. And if they want something bigger than something that should happen, then that's their own desires. But I know personally, I'm never going to treat anybody differently. And that's all that I can give.
Mm-hmm.
I can't at the moment give out $1 million to some, underprivileged person. But what I can do is be that person that shows them that not all white people are going to be them pigs. You know
Mhm.
what I mean? And I feel like it starts there.
Mm-hmm.
And it starts with people more than it starts with action.
Mm. And
by people's actions, that's where you make the movement. And obviously now, like what you're saying, like I feel like, like what more can I do? You're already doing enough being the best person you can be, living morally by treating everybody equally. What else are you gonna do, dog?
Mm.
Like you can't let this outside external pressure make you feel bad. Like I've been the
Exactly.
white kid on the block, dude. I got called so many, so many things, dude. But I'm still there for them. Like I don't care. They all my homies. At the end of the day, we was just playing ball. At the end of the day, we still just walking around, hanging out. What more could I have done? Walked around on my knees below everybody else, bowed down every time I talked to them. You can't do that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, it's like people, all they want is just like power these days. And yeah, power is always going to be a thing. Like government has power over everyone. But really, realistically, people have power over the government. Because like if we all don't pay taxes, what are they going to do? Try to get every single person on this planet?
Let's boycott taxes, dog. That's a great idea. I just thought about that. Me and my homies, we're not paying taxes anymore.
Yeah, but everyone else pays taxes.
Yeah, but
So,
without
like-
taxes, we'd be lacking a lot of things, to say the least. Like we wouldn't
Yeah,
have
no,
good
we
education.
wouldn't have good education. We wouldn't have nothing.
Yeah.
But like they're at the end of the day, like we have to do what we got to do to support everyone. Like our taxes help everyone else.
Do they though?
Sometimes,
Yeah.
but the
One thing I
government
will
is
say
greedy.
is I hate
Government is-
freeloaders.
Hey,
Freeloaders
okay.
suck. If you're on welfare and you ain't doing nothing but eating Doritos with your white socks on, just washing
wife beater,
white beater. You got them gym shorts on.
Cheeto stain.
You got flies flying around everywhere.
Can't
You
even
got
walk to the fridge anymore.
yeah, dude. If you're just freeloading off of welfare, then you make me want to boycott my taxes. I will say that.
That's going off the topic. Let's go to the next
Characteristics
topic.
of relationships.
Yeah, like what's our next topic? On this?
So, all right.
Do you have an opinion on anything?
Yeah,
that we
Conrad,
just
you need to
talked
start
about?
talking, or else you're gonna
Bro.
get booted.
You can start freestyling.
Bro,
Yeah, at this point, just like
Like you just
you
start
know,
playing the guitar.
just say what's on your head. Like
there's
what
nothing
about-
for me to say though. Like,
you don't have an opinion on anything.
not really on this.
Not really on this. Like now on dating or like just in general.
Just like I don't know, like the whole gender role things and all that stuff. Like, I don't know.
Everyone has their opinion. Like
What
You know?
what's your takeaway then? Like if you've absorbed all of this, then what are you taking away from it? Because I feel like that's
I don't know,
something
because
I-
like everybody has opinions and stuff, and they're all gonna be different. Like, there's never gonna be like
But how does the information and what we said, how did everything we present to you come back to you? You know what I mean? Like you're
Yeah.
forming your opinions on what we're saying. Now, what are you thinking? Are you leaning more towards, like, I don't know, dog. Like, just what are you taking away from some of this? Because I feel like that'd be important. Like, because if people are listening to the podcast and they're just listening to it, I feel like they're gonna take away something from it too. If you're here,
Yeah.
then you could vocalize something that you take away from it, and I feel like that's super powerful.
yeah.
What are you thinking?
Bro, I don't know what I'm like really thinking about it though.
He's like, dude, honestly,
Like-
I've been thinking about dinner for the last
no, for real.
Since we've been talking about like all that, like no getting pussy, dog, I've been really, really getting some action.
That's crazy.
I guess I didn't get into this as much as I should have. But like, I guess we'll start with just one topic. We'll start with, so why do you think, I know what I believe, but why do you think there's so much confusion about these topics?
The confusion, everyone's gonna be confused. Like some people are slower than others. And I am definitely one of those people, as y'all know. I'm definitely one of the slower people, but like everyone, the confusion is just like really what you believe in, how you take it, and how you listen to other opinions. And if you want to form your own, you should make it. But like everyone's just gonna have an opinion at the end of the day, and whether you choose to believe that or something else, I mean, that's just confusion right there. Like I just confused probably the whole audience by saying that sentence. You know what I'm saying?
I think another good point, right, is like formats like this where we have 4 different dudes all talking about our own opinions and our own takeaways. Like this is going out to anybody who cares to listen to it. You know what I mean? And we're just 4 dudes. Like there's so many other places where people can just absorb information. There's so many tablet children. There's so many different types of stimulation. You got TikTok, Instagram, Snapchat. There's so many feeds where all sorts of different opinions come in. And the confusion lies is all those voices, dog. Like I know personally, I kind of grew up really just listening to the voices of my dad's friends, my mom's friends, my mom, my dad, and then social media. Like I know that stuff had give me some, and I'm not trying to sound like an old head or anything like that, but I feel like it's valid to say that if we were without all of the privileges of technology, then would we still be that confused?
I don't think so. I think what it is everybody's opinion. Okay.
He's grown up.
This guy.
He's grown some balls. He took an alpha pill.
No, but I think it's like everybody is like throwing around there. Like there's so many opinions going around everywhere. It's like people don't even know what to think anymore. It's like people don't know what to believe because there's so many people like just throwing around their opinions. Like they take in all of this information, they have all this stuff, they don't even know what to believe like for themselves anymore.
Okay. I got something to go off of that. So what I think that people don't, I think that in our home lives and stuff, like, I think what's happening is people are losing their traditions, and we're, there's more kids who don't have role models, kids who don't have somebody to look up to. And where are they going? Like, they're constantly seeing social media, they're constantly watching other people and hearing their opinions and whatever. And it's like, all of this is because I feel like in today's day and age, like, a lot of people don't have like a good role model to look up to, like in their home, like,
whether that's your home or your family or your friends. Like, not a lot of people.
Right. And so I feel like people are just like, everybody's kind of lost and trying to figure out like what's the truth. And like, and I feel like the reason people do what they do, they believe what they believe, is a big part of it is because of like what feels good to them, you know? And it's like,
What are they used to?
so it's like,
I mean,
Man.
like, summing up your whole thing, it's pretty much like people saying, okay, at the end of the day, you're going to believe what you believe. And that's really all it is. It's like everyone's going to be confused on a topic, but at the end of the day, what you believe is what you believe. And that's how to put this whole conversation to rest.
no, because the reason I started this podcast is because I wanted to get into why. Like, I want to tell people, like, I want to understand why people believe what they believe,
Right.
and I want to go into deeper. I want to understand what their logic is. And like, because I know what I believe and I know what other people believe, and it's like totally different. I'm like, what's the difference here? And it's like Kevin said, this is just 4 different dudes like talking on a podcast, and people believe what they believe, but it's like, why not voice your opinion,
Yeah.
I don't know, but I want to find out, like, why do people believe what they believe? Because that's the question that people aren't asking. They're just everybody's fighting over at each other because of this or that, when we should be trying to understand each other. And I feel like that's where things are a little bit different, because we don't try and understand each other.
Yeah, because everyone
Yeah.
just wants their own opinions.
Right.
And that's
Another thing is, like, a lot of people think their opinion is right all of the time.
Right.
And that's the difference. Like, it's about the mindset of everything. And if you're one of the people that thinks that your opinion is absolute, then you're going to be one of the people talking down on someone else for something they believe. And I don't think that's proper means of conversation with somebody that you're talking to. I feel like there's 2 common consensuses in every relationship: my opinion and your opinion.
right.
You know what I mean? You don't have to find the middle ground and both of y'all find a new opinion. And honestly, I think it's really powerful to get into a conversation with somebody and stand by your opinion. But there's a mindset and there's a way of doing it. And now there's so many instances, some medias where like people go on and talk about their opinion, and
it's
they are just so wrong to a point. And then they just stand by it. And then they get so defensive and they get so rude to the host or even the audience or the other person in the podcast. And the whole point is just immediately contraindicated. And I feel like it's kind of messed up. And I really like what you said about starting the podcast and just wanting to know about the differences. So I think that's important for people to pick up and listen to.
Yeah, it is really powerful what you do here. And, hopefully maybe one day, like, a lot of people will listen. If you do listen to these podcasts, and I hope you're taking some away from it and not just listening to listen to it. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't know. It's just like, at least take some out of this if you're listening,
Yeah. So I feel like a lot of times, like, people just don't, it gets hard to admit when you're wrong. So a lot of times people will say their opinion, they'll stand by it, and they could, the evidence could be clearly against them. And a lot of times people will still try and force their opinion because, they already dug themselves this far,
And a lot of time it's just like a human aspect of it too.
Yeah.
The emotional side of a lot of things, and it's like I watched Steven Crowder's some of his shows where he'd stand out in college campuses and say a lot of like things that honestly would be immediately triggering because there's so many emotional thoughts tied to them. For example, like rape culture. I'm not going to give my opinion on rape culture because I think that's fucked. But I do think that obviously hearing those words, you immediately formed an opinion. And that's just the emotional side of a lot of things. And people are gonna agree, kind of like in that video, but it was just the words and the way the topic was presented that made those people just disagree so much. And I feel like, honestly, I feel like you should watch it, and you guys should watch it if you haven't already. Instead of watching it for the points, just watch it for the interactions of people. You could see the way that Steven Crowder presented his information with all the facts and all of that. He was saying the whole time, rape is horrible. Rape is one of the most heinous things that anybody could ever do. And he justified his side. And then people would go back and they would justify their side. They were all kind of talking about the same thing about how rape is the most horrible thing, but they were disagreeing with the way that the conversation started by saying that rape culture is a myth. And that in itself it's pretty interesting to watch from like a bystander perspective and watching these people talk about their opinions. And I think that's why like this stuff is pretty neat,
I was going to go back to the dating thing, but I think everybody's
kind of too far down, I feel like.
If last thing before we go, what's one thing that you would like, one thing out of the whole thing that each of you would like for the audience to take away from?
Relationships are spontaneous. Relationships are a struggle. Relationships are uncomfortable. In relationships, I stand by always presenting your best self. If you want a nice relationship with somebody and you want to care for somebody, then be the best possible self you could be and try not to lose that heart.
I'd say probably just like don't date just to date in the moment and stuff, I guess. Date for like long-term purposes and stuff. Don't just go into a relationship like super fast and everything, like do like already doing everything first day. I think it should take time and there should be an emotional build and everything. But yeah.
Yeah, what I think everyone should take out of this is like, don't try to rush love. And if you're lonely and you want someone, don't do it because you're lonely. Do it because you know you could handle it. And love is the scariest thing on this planet. It is a lot of people, what I've heard, it's like it is the biggest drug on this planet is love. Love is hard, it's difficult, it's scary, but it's also so rewarding. And whatever side you come out of it, it's just like take it how it is, but don't ever rush it. If you really love someone, don't ever rush it. Just let time take its time. Let moments happen. Don't ever plan. Just live in the moment,
And you guys could do like a takeaway from any topic, anything discussed. But anyways, I guess one thing for you to take away would be to start asking why,
Yeah.
and not only why people believe what they believe, but also why you believe what you believe. Because, like without knowing why you believe what you believe, you can base your whole life off of, false things.
Yeah.
It's good to just ask yourself these things, and it's good to think for yourself and, have your own opinions and beliefs, but ask yourself, why do you believe what you believe? So anybody else?
I hope y'all really listened and wasn't just here just to hear a bunch of 4 guys talk about
It's like
whatever.
He's talking about you guys to not be selfish.
just like listen to everyone's opinion, and if you have an opinion on it, let us know. You know.
So with all that said, my friends, follow the man on IG. But with all that said, I hope you have a great rest of your week. I'm just going to publish this as a bonus episode. But yeah, have a great week. And I'll catch you guys on the next episode.
Flippity flop.
If you made it this far, I just want to say thank you so much for listening to the show today. I hope you learned something. I know I could have done a little bit better after I've recorded or after I've edited all of this. I can see some of the points that I missed and whatever, but I think that was definitely a good warm up for me and warm up for everybody else. I think everybody just had a good time and we were just talking and bringing some things up that, you know, bringing things up in a safe environment, that's always a good thing to do. So anyways, if you enjoyed today's episode, I would really appreciate it if you shared it on social media or, you know, with a link or just a screenshot or, you know, anything like that. That would be super helpful. Other than that, I do plan to publish another episode this week. It's going to be a solo episode with me. I just want to talk a little bit more about the dating topic, and I want to get into that. So, my friends, if you made it this far, I really appreciate you, and have a great week.